Hello.
Hello, how's
Hi,
everybody
everyone.
doing?
Doing good. How are you guys doing?
We're doing fabulous.
Getting
Well, it
over a
wasn't
cold.
getting over
Getting
a
over.
cold.
Well, at least it's just a cold. At least it's
Yeah.
just
Right? That's a good way to put it. Just at least it's a cold, right? All
Yes.
right.
Stuffed up, coughing. Not fun.
At that time of year. What's everybody else up to? We would love to hear what you guys are up to.
well, and there's already people on
Hmm.
because Barbara's on from New York and Judy's on. Judy Hebert's on as well. So people are starting to log in.
Awesome. We got some fun things to talk about tonight, don't you think?
Yes, we
Yes.
do. Got a
I
lot
am
of fun things.
right.
Kathy looks like she's searching for something.
I don't I'm still trying to work. I'm still trying to work and do something here because that's what I do. I fly by the seat of my pants, right? All right.
Susie
Um,
played with her Lucy today.
what are we're going to talk about? Recycle. Oh, she got her Lucy today.
Well, she
That's
played with it
awesome.
today.
She played with it.
Awesome.
And
What are we
Lisa's
talking about?
here. Mona's here. Mona's been working on her nebula quilt and has been posting it in Quilt Pass Central today. She's doing a beautiful job.
Cool.
That's awesome. How's everybody
Yeah.
liking Quilt Pass Central since we're talking about that at the moment? What do you guys think? Pretty good? I like
Yeah.
Quilt Pass Central.
Watching and making supper at the same time.
Oh,
Impressive.
wow.
I would have a mess on my hands if I tried that.
I did it. Okay, now I'm gonna remove it. Okay, but it's there. Hey, all right, that's what I was trying to do. Now we
Sorry,
can
that
talk
was
about
me.
stuff. Oh, okay. Oh, no, don't do that. Don't do that yet. All right. Recycle, requilt, and relove. What do you think? How many? Oh, sorry. Oh, good. She's
That's
Mona's
great.
excited. Yes. Oh, right. Oh my gosh. So Lisa said she has been sewing a white satin flower girl dress and have had to put the quilt aside until dress is finished. Oh, well, there you go.
Wow.
So tonight, though, we're going to talk about upcycling and what the long arm or what quilting and all of the fun things we can do with that. Right, Angela and Jake?
Yes.
Got lots
Maybe
of
not all of
samples.
them. Yeah.
Huh?
You have lots of samples with you. Kathy's the upcycle queen. She's got all the samples.
It's kind of
Yes.
like my jam. It is definitely my jam. How many of you guys have done some upcycling with your sewing? How many of you love to go shopping for I love to go antique shopping and buy wonderful things like these. I have this look at this right here. I'm going to make myself big if that's okay.
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
And so all of these great little tablecloth, like a placemats, right? But what grabbed my attention is that embroidery right there. So I
Cool.
wanted,
Cool.
isn't that kind of cool? And look at this one. So
Oh
there's some
wow.
really fun, yes, right. And that's hand done, right?
Somebody has
So,
a lot more time than I do.
well, and the back is just as pretty.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. So I find these things at antique stores and I like really want to upcycle things because upcycling is fun.
Yeah.
What about a quilted heart? I found a quilted heart. That's another great thing, right? Okay, you can make me small again. They can come into the game. Yes, Lisa, it was such a great find. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna gosh, this one is just so pretty. Look at her little bananas. Aren't they adorable? They're just like amazing. They like are just so oh my gosh. I'm excited about this is one of my favorite topics.
Well,
And
and
what
I have, like, pillowcases that my great-grandmother did that she never they were I think they were kits where they would do the edge of the pillowcase and
mm-hmm.
then sew them together and use them as a pillowcase. They were never even sewn together.
Mm.
Hmm.
So, I need to play with some of those and see what I can do with them.
All right. Um, one of the things that I think is really good about upcycling is the just reusing things. There's so many things that we can and our sewing machines are so capable of doing this, don't you think?
Yes.
Mhm.
I'd
Okay.
I've got a question. Were those like tablecloths, or what were those things you showed?
I think
Or
there are placemats.
placemats?
Mhm. I think I got placemats and then I have some there's a whole bunch of them. Oh, yes. Look at that one. Isn't that amazing? So, and I think there was some napkins. Cause see, look at here's the napkins because they're all like then tiny. Look how tiny she made that.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing? I gotta find the same here. So here's how the different sizes. There's that tiny one into the big one.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing? Susie, how are you? Oh yeah. There's you can take grandma's hankies and do some dresses. You could do some butterflies. Have you seen some quilt that way, Angela? Have you quilted any?
No. I've seen ones that have had hankies on them, but not butterflies.
Yeah, it was the hankies and they turned them into a butterfly.
Mm-mm.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that crazy?
I have seen some that the hankies have been appliqued down onto blocks, and I've quilted some of those.
Right. So quilted straight up, like, yeah, they've appliqued the
Mhm.
hanky right on there. There's a
Yeah.
beautiful if you look at if you do a Google search, Susie, for, hanky dress, I mean, that would be bad maybe. Quilted blocks with, silk hanky dresses or something like that. There's some it's a beautiful lady, they did a beautiful silhouette of the different dresses, and it looks like a big, beautiful ball gown. There's kind of fun things. That's what Pinterest is for. Ideas, right? Your quilt behind you, Angela, is just stunning, by the way.
Yes.
I love
Gravity.
it.
Gravity.
Oh, Angie has some old crochet lace dollies. Ooh, that you'd work into a quilt. So look and do a Google search, Angie, on lace dolly quilts. I bet if you put those 3 words together, you're gonna find a plethora of awesome things. So, I would like to hear what other medium do you guys sew with? Angela, you've sewn with quite a bit of different mediums, right?
You mean like leather and silk
Yes.
and yeah. There's not really anything I'm not afraid to sew in anything. I've done pleather, so
I think it's awesome.
marine like grade vinyl. Yeah, all kinds of weird stuff. Not afraid
Right.
to sew
Oh,
anything.
yeah, and the long arm is we did some vinyl too that was on the underneath. They're gonna use it for a lawn quilt,
Mhm.
and it was just wonderful to do.
Well, and
So,
there's oilcloth out, like big wide oilcloth that was printed at one point. I don't think they're doing it anymore. People are making raincoats and stuff out of it. Probably about probably 10 years ago now. And I have a quilt that the back is made out of that so that it's waterproof.
okay, that's awesome,
That's cool.
right? I mean, Jacob, you're kinda newer to the sewing world. Do you see some, like, upcycling and some fun things that you've seen that have been pretty awesome?
Um, I mean, my favorite is the one that's in the front of our store that we'll probably show later, but, yeah, doing tablecloths or denim or, leather work is really cool. So, I enjoy actually, a lot of the things Kathy's done with leather, which we'll probably see some of those as
Yes,
well.
we're gonna talk about that, yes. Some things to think about, though, when you are starting to work with alternative materials. What would you guys suggest? Jacob, what would you suggest for your sewing machine to make sure that one of our quilters or our sewers are ready for something extra special?
Like to sew on something like that, or
Yeah. How would I
I,
get my machine? What would be the first step to get my machine ready?
I mean, I would probably pick the correct needle for whatever you're trying to work on. So if you're trying to sew through leather, find a leather needle. If you're sewing through denim, find a denim needle. Um, I'm sure Kathy can speak more about the leather, but that fear of there's always going to be a hole there. So the more you
Angela,
prepare
yeah.
ahead of time, the better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing is the needle and maybe the thread too.
Right. Angela, what would you say would be the bigger concerns?
Well, I mean, definitely needle, right? Needle size. Because once you do leather, or if you're doing silk, right, they're not going to self heal. So you need to
Yeah,
make
that's a
sure
good
that,
point on silk. Good point on silk.
yeah. And I actually do more silk than I do leather, but neither one of them are going to self heal. I'm worried, or not worried. I always think about what thread I'm using because typically, if I'm on silk material, I'm also using silk thread. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. So I think about like, what the thread's going to be, what the batting's going to be, right? And then other than that, it's not all that much different. So I don't stress out about quilting anything. The machine can handle it. So yeah,
There you go. There's the words, ladies and gentlemen, do not stress.
don't stress. This is supposed to be fun.
Yes. And there's no quilting police
Mm-mm.
No.
ever.
No, and if I
So,
did do something to a piece of leather or a piece of silk, I can always applicate something over that area. I just have to be creative on how I fix it, right? So
or some couching with it or some fun things like
couching,
that
yeah,
too. Yeah.
yeah, just put something on top of it.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Okay. Well, should we talk about the other main reason that we're kind of talking also was about recycle, reuse, and relove?
So the Nashville, the All-Star event.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're gonna talk
So
about that.
yeah. So in case you missed it, we are taking reservations or for the All-Star event. So the registrations are open and they are putting people in classes. So if you've been waiting for that to go live, it just went live like I think last week. Um, so there's still seats available, but you want to make sure if you want to go and you want to get into the classes that you want, that you do register early because we have quite a few people already signed up.
Well, I think we have Miss Susie Luttrell is going.
Yes, Susie was one of the first 10 that got to sign up.
Yes.
I don't even know what the number was, to be honest with you, because she bought during the event that they got a free trip to this. So I know she's all registered for classes.
So,
Um,
and when is the class gonna be, Miss Angela?
the
When's the
second,
retreat
third,
gonna
and
be?
the event is the second, third, and fourth of June. The third and fourth are the class days. The second is the welcome evening event for the thing. So, and it is in outside of Nashville in Franklin, Tennessee. So the nearest airport would be the Nashville International Airport. Um, and then you don't have to ever leave the hotel once you get there unless you want to. The event includes your hotel stay. They are doing single occupancy rooms, so you get your own room at the hotel. They're going to feed you for breakfast and lunch for the 2 days that you have classes, and then they're gonna have, I think, hors d'oeuvres, the night before and the first night of class. So, the whole idea is to make sure that you are spoiled while you are there. Janice, you
So
don't have to own an APQS machine. That is not a requirement. This is a long arm quilting event. It's sponsored by APQS.
sponsored by ABQS, but you no way in any shape or form, or you might not even have one altogether and you just want to come take a class because some of the stuff that we're going to be
Mhm.
talking about, you can use on your domestic machine.
For sure. For sure.
All right. So, Angela, what you're gonna definitely you found your niche at this little event. So
Yeah.
she's gonna be doing so for some of those of you who do not know, Miss Angela Clark is, and I'm sure you all know, but I'm just gonna bust and be proud of her. She is the most amazing quilt path teacher we have. She speaks in code, talks in code, and is the most amazing computer person there is. So if you want to take a quilt path class, you got it from this lady right here. It's going to be fabulous. Even though I'm teaching one,
You are teaching one while you're there. You are.
you can take hers too. It'll be
Yeah, somehow
fabulous.
I ended up teaching 4. I was trying to teach something not quilt path related and ended up teaching only quilt path, and that's fine. I do things other than quilt path though,
Yes,
but
you do.
it's okay. It's
I know,
fine.
but this is a good what you teach is amazing. And I got look
It's
they
it
hanging all over me.
yeah. It is what most people in the APQS world at least know me for is quilt path. Um, so yeah.
Because you're fantabulous. That's
And then
why.
and Kathy is teaching one quilt path class, and she is also going to be teaching 3 classes that are going to be based on alternative fibers of some sort.
Well, one of them is just tension. So we're just gonna
Oh,
talk
yeah.
tension.
The one is
The
out on the
T
first day is
word.
tension. That's
Pardon me?
right, I forgot you were doing one in depth on tension, so yeah.
Yeah.
So, yes, Mona, you
Yeah.
can take 4 quilt path classes that are all different classes, um, while you were there at the All-Star. You could only take quilt path if you wanted to. And Susie, I do teach online. I just stopped I had a class end last week, and the next online class that I will be teaching will actually be in May, because my parents are coming for a visit. So I'm taking a little time
Yay.
off to spend some time with them.
Awesome.
Yes. We have a couple other people before I get to some show and tell. We have Tracy Russell, who's going to be doing some free
Mhm.
motion classes demo. This is hands-on.
Hers are
And
hands-on, yeah.
yep, hers are hands-on. So there's going to be a machine there for you. That's just going to be awesome.
Mhm.
And then Angela Huffman, because we have our beautiful Angela's with us. Angela Huffman is doing on the second day, you're going to do a panel and you're going to custom quilt the panels, both morning and afternoon sessions. She's going to be working on that. Plus, she also has some free motion hands on. So, Angela Huffman and Tracy Russell are doing hands on. Angela Clark and Kathy Thayer are doing demo. So, we're going to do
Lecture demos,
lecture
yeah.
demo.
Yeah, there will be a long arm in every classroom.
Yes.
So I will get to have a quilt path and a long arm in my classroom.
I'm super excited. Oh,
I think
Barbara,
you
that's
will.
so awesome. She is pretty awesome, isn't it, right?
Yeah.
I'm actually really excited. I wish I could take some classes, but I'm gonna be working.
You're gonna be working. Jake's gonna be there working too.
Yep.
So, yeah. And then for those of you that have an APQS machine, Miss Lindsay, who is you would know her as our sales assistant. She's actually our manager for our showrooms as well. Um, she will be there. John, our new CEO, is going to be there. I think
Mhm.
Amy may be coming too.
And this
Um,
bearded guy right here.
well, I did say Jake.
Oh, I yeah,
I
probably. I'm
said Jake will
sorry.
be there
Ju-
too.
I'm
Mhm.
just there to smile and nod.
No. And then,
He's gonna bring
yeah,
his little baby with him, though.
yeah, he's going to have a baby.
Baby,
Little
baby.
baby at that point.
Little baby.
All the classes are listed on the registration page. So they are all up there for you to read about and decide which ones you want to do. So yeah.
So first ever APQS event like this. So that's really exciting. So if you want to get on the ground floor or if you want your friends to go with you, you need to share that event. Share this video with them and get them to come.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I mean, on social media, when they're posting about the All-Star event or really about anything, right?
Mhm.
If you're excited about what they're doing, even if you're not going to be attending, tell them,
Mhm.
right? Go ahead and post and say, "Oh my gosh, I'm so excited that you're doing retreats. I can't come this year, but I'm looking forward to a future retreat." Because you want them to know that that this is something that you want them to do. Same thing goes with, blog topics that you like. If you like the color theory ones that some Julia's been doing, or if you like the free patterns, if you like, hey, we had one on Quilt Path for the first time ever in February, right? If you want more of those style of posts, you need to tell APQS, hey, I like this and I want more of it. If there's not interaction, they don't know, right? So make sure you're telling them what you like and what you don't like.
Thumbs up and share are the best things you
Mhm.
can do, and those are free.
Yep.
Yes.
So that's for you, Miss Angela.
Yeah, that's me again. Okay, so Tammy, I actually have a more in-depth class that's on Vimeo. I've only taught it live online twice, and it was during COVID. But there is an advanced quilt path camp that I can look at putting back on the schedule again at some point. I I will be able to do it easier now that my studio is a reality, because I am actually sitting in my new studio at my house, and I'm able, obviously, to stream from here. Lenny came in today, so he will
Yay.
be getting set up, possibly not this weekend because it looks like I may be setting somebody else's machine up this weekend, but he will be set up in the next couple weeks, so I'll be able to do more things that I can have cameras on a machine.
Woo,
Yeah.
woo, woo, woo.
That's exciting.
It's all in the process. It's all
I know. I'm excited. Maybe we'll do some free motion throwdowns. How does that sound, Angela?
That sounds like fun. Oh, we have to do that. That sounds like fun. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, there's Miss Price has joined us. How awesome. I have spent the last 3 days with Miss Price on the internet.
I was gonna say, what do you mean? She lives near me now. I'm not sharing so well. Sharing so-
She was part of our virtual retreat
Aw.
that we have with 3 other shops. So it was really kind of fun. The quilted poodle would love a studio. Maybe we'll do a studio reveal when she has Lenny set up.
Yeah.
Right now,
It'll
Lenny's not set up.
yeah, and I'm having cabinets installed too, but I'm not waiting for that. I don't know when that's gonna happen, to be honest with you. I postponed it until after my parents leave, for many, many reasons, which means it will not be happening until sometime this summer because right after that, we're going to Nashville.
Yes, we're going to
Right?
Nashville. We're going to
Yeah.
Nashville. Woo!
We're
Well,
excited about it.
let's talk about a couple of my classes that my
Yeah, let's.
anything but cotton. I'll get ready for it. I'm going to start off with the obvious. My What would you call this, Jacob? Would you call this my uniform?
Yes.
It's her uniform.
She's always wearing it.
Miss
She got
Angela,
all of us to do one.
you get to talk, but Miss Angela has one that's beautiful too. So this is my jean. This is my jean jacket. So
Quilted.
quilted.
Free motion, right?
Yeah, but
That one's pretty much it. I did one on Quilt Path too. So you
yeah,
don't
Angela's doing quilt path with bright, beautiful thread. It looks so yummy. Here's
well,
the
yeah.
inside.
Some
Yep.
cave.
So the inside gets to be a secret surprise just for you, jean jack wearer. All right, moving on. See, I always have to have it on. Moving on, we'll show this right here, Miss Angela. We talked about this, right? We saw this down at Houston. So that is
So
called
cool.
floor canvas. So it was kind of fun. It's just really canvas. It's a fancy word for canvas. But it's canvas. But we did this straight on the long arm, and I also taught this for a class for domestic sewing machines. So we got the background, you fuse everything on here, and we just do a raw edge kind of fun little feel right there. So I'll be talking about that. The next thing is this is also inspired by Miss Angela Clark. Miss Angela Clark, you want to talk about this?
Okay, so that is actually doing applique on your long arm. So it's a Slapplique is the name of it. It's a Carly Porter design that she used to do that. and you actually put your stuff down on your long arm, and then we're using Digital Designs and Quilt Path to quilt on top of it and then cut around it raw edge applique. I also do that using fonts on quilts. I have a bunny that I've done that way, and I have a quilt that has a snowflake that's done that way, right? So those are classes that I taught, or those block of the month things that I did really good for the first 4 months last year in the Quilting Academy. We're all using those techniques.
Right. So something a little bit different. But then I did this on the long arm, and I actually sewed this straight on the long arm. These were 2 of my shirts. And I just made a pillow.
Yeah.
Straight on the long arm. So there's my reuse, recycle, requilt, relove. So some shirts.
Yeah, think about this. If you can do something in the hoop on an embroidery machine, you can do it on the frame on a long arm.
Right.
Yes.
Right?
So can you see, I think I'm going to be very hard limited to 2 hours. I already see a problem. Right.
Well, you get 3. We're gonna give her 3. It'll be okay.
Okay, I can do 3. Okay.
You
I
get
think
it's
I
a
still
3-hour
might have a
class.
problem.
Yeah.
So, one of the things that I'm going to show first, I'm going to have Jake talk about this because I can't do this thing and this thing at the same time. So I'm going to unplug Jake and let you talk about our logo on our leather that's up in our front of our store. And I'll hold it up.
Okay, I'll do my best. So this is purple leather, believe it or not. She found this at Quilt Market. I think the first year we went, be 2019, I think. And she traced it on there, the lettering, and kind of traced it with the long arm, and then changed the thread color actually for the needle and the thread going through the needle. And then she did what she loves by graffiti quilting the rest. And I think it is fabulous. I love how the fabric bash pops out. It's probably one of my
I'm getting back
more
on.
favorite things.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I love the depth to it.
Yeah, she did a phenomenal job on it.
I did it. It's okay. There's some bobbles. I know my bobbles.
Okay. We are not allowed to tell people about our baubles.
Okay.
Unless you were teaching a class and showing that baubles are okay, we're not allowed to tell people about them.
Okay. So that leather got some history to it. My son carried it around the very first quilt market we went to in 2019. And then in 2021, I turned it into something. So it had to sit in my brain for a while. So another class, and we actually have a video on this that we did post in the Quilting Academy, is recycled jeans. So these are just some of my old jeans that have holes in them. But you can go to like a Goodwill store if you're one of those people that likes to. I have a friend who's a very bare minimist. If he gets a new pair of jeans, he has to get rid of an old pair of jeans. So if you're not somebody who keeps around jeans, you can do this kind of fun thing and do some fun art on there.
Cool.
When we were talking earlier, Angela, I was fraying the edges. So there's some fun art this way. Straight. I did this one also straight on the long arm. And then I will show you. Should we talk about the clock, Mr. Jacob?
Sure. She
Okay.
likes to do it. If you have noticed, she likes to do everything straight on the long arm.
Yes.
Skip everything else and just do it on the long arm.
Right
Why
there.
take it off?
Right? Right. It's just kind of way too much fun. I just think it's like I like to be in that room.
It's
Unless
just a
I hit
bigger canvas to play with. I mean,
right?
who
Oh
doesn't
my
want a bigger
gosh.
canvas?
All right. So here is my clock. Let me see if I can make it bigger. Oh, I'm stuck. It's on an email. I can't make it bigger.
There you go.
There we go. So that is just a cross-stitch tablecloth that we went Jake and Anna, my daughter, his wife, and their children and my kiddos, we all went down to a antique store here in not too far from our house. And I wanted to get something because the quilt theme for the Omaha Quilt Show was a stitch in time. Well, I wanted to do something that was a stitch in time. So I found, and I didn't know what I wanted. I honestly didn't know what I was going to do when I walked to the antique store, but I was going to find something. And I found that cross stitch tablecloth, and it was, I think, $7. It had nothing on it. It has a stain over in the top by right about 2 o'clock. But I just kept the stain on there. So I thought about what I was doing, started thinking about putting a clock on the inside, started doing the gears. We laser cut those gears from Tim Holt fabric. I freaked Jacob out when I said, well, I'm going to put some backing on there. And then he watched me load it and I put some batting on there. And then I put that big old Tim Holt fabric down on there. And then I slapped another layer of batting on there. And he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, well, hold on. And then I put the thing on top of there. And I kind of went to town quilting. So that is the beginning of my clock. And it was kind of fun. So it was because I thought it brought old and new. It had the hand stitching, stitch in time. It had the new stitching of a long arm. And then I put a clock on it. Hello, Melanie. How are you? So it's just kind of fun. So my class at Nashville is all about doing the unusual usual.
Thank you for including me, Melanie.
And me, kind of.
There you go. Right. She knew you were there, Neil. She knew. So I would suggest that you guys tell your friends about Nashville because it is filling up. Some of the classes are almost full.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Yeah. Hands-on classes, unfortunately, we can only get so many people in the room.
right.
So, yeah.
So they're getting kind of full, but they're going to be great.
But
We
there's still,
forgot to.
as of this afternoon, there were still seats in every class. So at least one seat in every class. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
We forgot to mention that we're going to do a lecture, like we're going to do a demo talk with all of us up on stage too, 2 nights.
We are. Like,
Don't look so excited, sweetheart.
Like, yes, we are. I was just thinking, yeah, they're going to make us do songs and dances. No, they're not. They're not. They're really not. But,
but
yeah.
you're going to have all 5 of us up on stage. Yes, the bearded guy is included. And we'll just have him holding his new baby and he'll be fine.
Yeah.
And that'll be a great, you guys get to ask us fun things. That'll be great things. That'll be a good time. So, Angela, if you could recycle and requilt, I mean, have you done some? I mean,
I've done a lot of antique quilts.
Yeah, that's what I was just
So,
gonna.
like, I have a customer that, his great aunt did a lot of like what I call quilt by numbers when they were like cross hatching them or they could have been embroidery or applique. And then there were those little blue dots for people to quilt on.
Yeah.
So she did a lot of those. And over the years, the 2 of us have done a lot of different projects with them. But she's got one that she uses for Thanksgiving every year as a tablecloth and has long before I quilted it. But yeah, so I've done a lot of them. I have a bunch here I need to do that were Matt's grandmothers. So my husband's dad's mom was also a quilter, and I have her stash from when she passed away. So I didn't keep a lot of it, but I kept any like the hand stuff that she had done when she was younger and stuff like that. And I have a bunch of so I just need to get in my closet and find something to work on because I've got a lot of it. The only one I'm not probably gonna quilt is made out of double knit polyester. Nobody wants to snuggle under that. So, yeah.
Sorry, I thought I just saw something fly across the ceiling.
I was wondering what you were
We're all
doing.
looking at her going, "What's going
Sorry.
on with Kathy?"
Sorry. I think it's the beginning of things hatching in
Yeah.
Right.
our world. So our world is starting to wake up here. You guys in North Carolina are quite a bit ahead of us here in Nebraska.
Yeah, I
So
have daffodils in my front yard and tulips.
as long as your snake stays asleep.
He's a good snake. My snake that lives at my house is a good snake. He's a black snake. He eats copperheads. He is my bestie. He can stay at my house as long as he wants to. I don't have copperheads.
There you go. Right. It's just been on the poor Liz gets to hear the snake talk again. The bluebells are coming to they're blooming right now down in Texas, and two of the stores we were
Ooh.
with were down in Texas. And it's just kind of funny. Like Michelle said, she got home late at night one night and she had to bring in the trash can, but she goes, "You don't go walking at night." Mm-mm.
You make sure you kick stuff before you move them. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, all right. Okay, so you do the same thing. All right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say one of the things that I would say, I also have a lady who loves to, and I love her method. She finds these quilt tops and she puts them and they're very traditional usually because they're, older per se. And she puts them with modern backing. So she pieces her backings. So one
Okay.
side is very modern, one side is very traditional.
Okay.
But what I'm going to say is I've been running into some problems lately. They are wonky. So you got to be prepared for things. Liz said, "Y'all walk across the field in Virginia in flip-flops. I don't know about Texas bluebell fields though." But anyway, so you got to be if you're yeah.
May need to talk to you about that flip-flop thing in Virginia. You're not too far from me.
If you're gonna rescue quilt tops from garage sales or antique stores or things of the like, you just need to be prepared for things that might be a unique challenge.
Well, here's the thing, right? If, Aunt Martha didn't quilt that quilt way back when, there was a reason. Like, it probably isn't square. I'm because she quilted the other quilts, right? That top she chose not to for some reason.
Right.
So
Or
that's how I always look at it. So yeah, usually they are wonky and not right. They were hand stitched. They were using templates that they cut out of whatever cardboard they could find, or cereal boxes, or you know, eh, they're just wonky. There's
right.
vines everywhere. So yeah,
And I would say some of them are filled with some quite interesting material.
yeah. If it's actually a quilt, it could have newspaper inside it. It can have all kinds of stuff inside it.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's so I love that some people are recycling and requilting even quilts that have been falling apart and turning them into jackets.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, teddy bears and jackets. I hear both sides. There are people that are very excited to see that, and people who are not so excited because they're cutting up this historic quilt. But a lot of times those quilts, when they're getting them, like half the quilt is gone. It was eaten by something. Silverfish got it. Whatever, right?
Mhm.
And they're preserving the part that they can.
Absolutely.
So
So
yeah.
with that, before you reset when you buy your new thing that you want to upsell or upcycle, not upsell, sorry, upcycle.
Well, they may be
Um,
upselling it too.
yeah.
Could be doing both.
So you have in your area a mall where crafters have their products. It's called is it the pineapple? What's it called, Jacob?
Painted trees, right?
Right, painted tree. The painted tree. Have you
In
been
my
to that,
area?
Angela? Yeah, because the
We have
ladies
a bunch of vendor malls.
Okay, so vendor malls, that's a
Yeah.
good word. We don't quite have them here yet, per se, unless they're antique stores, right.
There's one, like, just down the street from me,
Mhm.
and then, yeah, I could probably name, like, 5 in just Wake County.
That's
Um,
amazing.
so where you rent, like, a table or a booth, and you can sell anything that's craft-based there.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Right,
other
so
than painted tree, though.
the painted tree. So that they went and visited that, and they said it was like what's I think some people are doing, which is sad that Bed Bath& and Beyond went out. That was one of my favorite stores. But this is going in the place of it. So it's kind of interesting, and they're hopping across the United States building these. So you could upcycle and really make some money on the side.
Mhm.
So that's a
If it's
great
going into
option.
where our Bed Bath& and Beyond is, there's another one of those right across the street from there.
Well, I'm not sure about this, but yeah, I'm sure in
Oh.
every area it's a little bit different. But the ladies were talking about how it seems like they're going into the big box stores like Bed Bath& and
Mhm.
Beyond, whatever it is, because that's big high ceilings and lots of open space, but then you can put all those little booths in there. So, but that's a great income and maybe a side hustle for some people.
Yeah.
So, other than that, just keep on doing it, right? Don't be afraid to mix old and new. I
For
think that's
sure.
the most exciting thing.
Yeah. I mean, you wanna do what inspires you. So, I don't think there's anything wrong with using something that hasn't been used in the last 100 years.
Right.
Like, if nobody wants it, what historic value does it actually have?
Right. Right. If it was
Is that
going
in
if
the
you had it at a garage sale you're right, exactly. I got the tablecloth for $7. Nobody wanted it.
Well, and, like, in my case, things that my great-grandmother made, I can either do something with them from my sister and I to enjoy and possibly Neil, right? Or I can dump it all on Neil later, which he's probably gonna pop in a minute and say, "No, that's not an
No.
option." See? So, no. Um,
No.
but, he's it. He's the end of the line, so until he has kids, right? So, yeah, so we might as well enjoy them.
Oh, Angie, that's awesome. I love it. Angie says, "I have an old tie quilt that someone wants me to fix. Back has been removed, some torn spots on the top. High sentimental value for its owner." Look at that. That's fabulous.
Yeah.
Angie, that's what we're talking about. That is what we're talking about. Love it. And the ties, the sentimental on the ties.
I don't know, I wonder if it's a tie quilt or if it is a quilt that was tied.
Ah, so how you interpret that word tie. It
Yeah.
could be old tied quilt. Yeah, okay, I'm reading it wrong.
Yeah. So I have had customers take the ties out of quilts, the
Mhm.
little knots that they put them to hold them together. And we've put on new batting, new backing, and I've long arm quilted them after they were repaired.
Mm,
So you don't actually have to tie them again if you don't want to.
that's awesome.
I did put some, non-potato based sizing type, you know, stuff in it to make it stiff for when I
Mhm.
quilted it because they're really soft when they come apart. But you can requilt them.
Oh, I have a quilt from 1930s that my great aunt
Mhm.
did. I'm repairing it. That's awesome. See, this is where the quilting world is just amazing. Lots of I don't people realize how much upcycling we do.
It's just in the nature of what we do.
Right. I mean, we had a demo last night of Julie doing crumb quilting, which she did straight on the long arm, but this one
Mhm.
she showed on the machine because of the purposes where we were. But that's another great thing because we are upcycling all of our scraps. And then she turned it into a zipper bag, a little zipper pouch.
I have not had a problem with the material not standing up to machine quilting. That being said, I do check the material out before I put it on, load it onto the long arm. if I think that the material is rotting, it may not be able to be machine quilted if it's actually rotting.
Right. Right.
But
So you have to be a good detective.
Could
yeah,
you back it with something to hold it, keep it together? Is that a possibility?
if it was an antique quilt and it was together, you could net it. So like put tulle over it so that there was something to hold the piecing together. That's how they preserve quilts at like the Smithsonian. Um, Quilts that they don't want to put contemporary fabrics into. Um, or they will try to find the same material if they can source it from somewhere, if they have something that's um, rotting out of a quilt. But most of the time they end up having to do something called netting, which they do with tulle.
Well, that's
So yeah.
awesome.
And you have to think, even those old quilts, they're using like vacuum cleaners, like with hose on the end of them to suck the dust out of them and stuff. Those quilts are a lot. Um, they're not as fragile as people think they are, right? Um, the things that are going to harm them are things like dust, because once they get dust and pollen and stuff on the quilt surface, then you have to worry about bugs, and the bugs are what actually eat everything, the stuff out of the quilt.
Right. I mean, and that's the debate too, like on starch and things like that, right?
Yeah, like you don't see people in my area using a whole bunch of true starch, because starch is potato based and we have silverfish, which is a bug. And they will eat the starch, so they'll eat anything that was starched.
That's amazing. That is, yeah, it's amazing that quilts and or fabric has lasted as long as it has, right?
Yeah, I mean, we have fabric in the Smithsonian that is from 1600s. I think even older than that. That's true. If you soak those quilts, yeah, if you do a preservation soak on them, you will know if there's something wrong with the fabric, for sure.
Now, can you explain that again for me, please, Miss Angela? Can you go over that again, please?
A preservation soak.
Yeah.
So if you go and you get a quilt from the consignment store, wherever you're getting it, it's probably going to be funky colored and smell funky, because if it hasn't been washed in a long time. So we actually put them in a bathtub with lukewarm water and then a neutral soap, like I want to say Orville, and I know that's not the right name. Um, it may be Orville. I can look up the name and put it in the feed
Oh,
later. But
yeah.
so you want to use a very, very mild neutral soap on it. So it's typically not a soap that we would be using in laundry today, because we use a lot of nitrates in our soaps now. And then you leave them in a bathtub for a while. Okay. So when I do it, I put a laundry basket in my big soaker tub, and I fill the bathtub like halfway full of not warm water, but room temperature water. So it's not warm and not cold. Put this soap in it, swish it around, and then I take the whole quilt and completely submerge it down under the water and put another laundry basket on top of it so that it's underneath the surface, and then typically something heavy in the top laundry basket to keep it submerged. And I let it sit in that water typically for, 24 hours to get it to, you want all of the soap to be able to get in and get anything nasty that's in that quilt out. And typically the water will turn pretty black
Wow.
Wow.
when you're doing it.
I'm glad you talked about that. That's really awesome.
So yeah, I've done a bunch of weird stuff in my life. And I got to live in Northern Virginia for a while, and got to do a bunch with QU, which Quilters Unlimited in Northern Virginia, gets to go in and work with the Smithsonian every once in a while. It's really, really interesting. And I'm a history major. So I just found it completely fascinating what they were doing with the quilts. I got to see them clean quilts and preserve quilts and talk to them about what they were doing. No, I want the quilt to be soft. I don't want any folded. If I'm putting weight on it, I don't want, creases that are gonna run all the way down like the middle of a quilt.
Right,
So you
right, right, right.
usually try to get it in there soft. And I don't
Right.
want to put enough weight on it to really put a crease into it, right? I want to keep the top laundry basket under the water so that the whole quilt is staying underneath the water.
Right. Good point.
Yeah.
Those are really good points.
And then you just keep
So
rinsing it, and to to rinse it, you pick up the laundry basket, right? The bottom one, the water comes out of it. It's not easy. Like I drain the bathtub and then I'm playing with the laundry basket to get the water out, and then I fill the tub up again and put the laundry basket back down in it with the quilt. And you just keep soaking it until the water runs clean. So
Wow.
yeah. It stays under
that
water for quite a while. And then I don't put it in my dryer. I don't.
wow. Yeah, that would be that would
Much
be the other
cheating.
thing too. Yeah, not to put it in the dryer, right?
Yeah,
And then
don't
when
put an antique quilt in the dryer. And yes, you can do it with just the top. Um, you don't want to agitate just the top, but as long as you're not doing anything to like rub the top together or agitate it, if you're just soaking it, yes, you can.
so with that, would you suggest anything like for pressing? Anything special for pressing when you get to that point?
If I was going to have the top and I was going to load it on my long arm, I will typically either use non-scented best press or a non-scented flatten, right? Which are
Mhm.
both pretty, available in our world. There may be other things now too. Those are just the two I know of. And then I will test a corner of the quilt to make sure that the iron's not going to affect it. And I don't use a really hot iron. Um, if I'm really worried about it, I'll use my commercial steamer instead of the iron and see if I can get it flat. But most of the time I end up needing to use an iron to get it at least semi-flat.
Oh, yeah. There's
But I'm also, it's making it square, right? So here's the other thing. We've said those quilts are going to be wonky and have extra fabric, right? You can use steam to shrink the quilt top, right? You hold the steam off of the quilt, and I'll actually pin the block that I'm working on down to my ironing board so that the outside is square, and then steam it so that it shrinks into the shape I want it to shrink into.
there you go. That's amazing.
Yeah. I don't know if she still has it out, but I think was it Bonnie Bots? There used to be somebody on the Quilt Path or on the APQS forums when it was on the website. It's still on the website. If you search the forums, there's someone who did starch and steam method, and she had a video on it.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. It was on a DVD, but she may still have it somewhere. So that might be something to look at on the old. The forum information is still there. It's just not posted on very often.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is good topic. My gosh. I love this.
Yeah, we didn't know we were going here, did we?
No. But that's awesome. That's what this is about, right? This is about ask questions and to do what our quilters want us to talk about, kind of. Because I can
Yeah.
talk about this stuff all day long.
So
Look at my pretty flowers.
we talked about your first class was anything but cotton. What's the second class?
Tension.
Tension, and then a quilt path class, and the second day you have a second class. I just put her on the spot, everyone.
You totally did. And I'm looking to see what I'm doing. What am I doing?
So sorry.
No, you're fine. I'm just day one. Let me see. I am tension headaches. Dr. Kathy can help.
I love the name of that one.
Right. And then upcycling. So I'm kind of doing a little bit of both again.
Okay.
I'm kind of splitting my thing into two.
Okay.
So I'm
I
doing a
just wanted to
leather.
make sure that we talked about both classes because we only mentioned one of them.
You're fine. It's all good. Anything but cotton and upcycling. So I've talked about everything. As you can see, I'm a tad bit excited about the topics. Like
They're
Angela,
going to be
she's going
good
to be.
classes.
I love that the All-Star event is so well-rounded,
It really is.
right? I think
It
it's
is.
going to be, there's the hands-on, there's a lecture demo, there's us chitty-chatting, hang out with us. My clock and this leather is going to Nashville.
Yeah, I
So,
have to find stuff to take to Nashville.
yeah, mine was
We're all
kind of
supposed to
easy.
take class samples, and somebody doesn't keep hers.
Uh,
Well, they're
well,
all hanging in my
somebody's,
showroom, but yeah.
And I'm taking my new grandbaby. My Hannah and Jake are having a baby May 10th, and he or she will be coming with us. So, kind of excited.
That'll be interesting.
It'll be a little vacation for Anna and Jake and the baby. It's like a
Yeah.
baby month.
Not for Heather and Jim, who will be watching the kids, Jake's parents. Yes, the samples are going to be so much fun, Susie. It is going to be Angela Huffman. When I said
Mhm.
I was thinking Angela
Angela
Huffman.
Huffman's bringing samples. Tracy's bringing
Yeah.
samples with her as well.
Yeah, it's going to be just a all around great time. So you do not need to have an APQS machine.
Mm.
B, you do not have to own a long arm.
Mm-mm.
I would highly suggest that you love quilting. And come out and hang out with everybody, because it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be in a beautiful part of Nashville. I am super, super exciting.
Thank you, Melanie. Thank you.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I just want to know if different types of leather are better for quilting than others. Yeah.
Yes. Well, you want it soft and pliable for one thing. You don't want hard leather. So I would say anything that's, yes, the fake and the faux, we got to be kind of careful with as well, and do some test runs on them potentially. This is a good old purple cow that we shot. No, I'm just kidding. It was it is cow leather, but there's deer leather. There's all kinds of, this is the real stuff. So just nice and thin not thin. It needs to be pliable, not like really stiff, like patchwork kind of stuff, right?
Yeah,
If I'm making sense.
you don't really want it to be thin. It needs to
No,
have some substance to it, but be pliable is what she's trying to say.
absolutely. You don't want a belt.
No. Don't
That's
want
what I'm thinking of. I don't want that thick of leather. I need to have it at least. And then just remember, when working with leather, to draw out your designs. And they do have actual, for real leather, markers that you can put on there that will brush off and not stay on them. So that's something to think about too. And that can help you with your design. Definitely mark and make sure it goes the way you want it. Or if you do an oopsies, it's going to be there forever, and you're going to oopsie it up and make it pretty oopsie.
Is there anything we should be doing or be bringing for class? Susie, this is kind of, we're supplying everything except note-taking supplies. So, if your class is using a panel, the panel is going to be provided. So the classes will be loaded with what you need when you walk into them. Practice cloth, or the machines will be. We'll have practice cloth, video cameras, audio, so that you can hear what's going on. This is a top rate show that we're trying to put on, right? So
Right.
we want to make sure that we have everything that you need available for you.
Mm-hmm. Come meet Miss Lindsay. She is so, so excited to meet you all.
Yeah.
She's like, I hear all of these beautiful voices on the phone, but I now get to put a name to a face.
Yeah. This is her first time getting to do anything like this. She's
This
excited.
is a first time for all of us to do.
Yeah. Well,
for APQS, for sure.
for APQS, yes. It's not the first time for three of us, but yeah,
Hey, we're bringing the Bashmo meal. The
I know you're
Bashmobile is going to be there.
Yeah, I'll be there in my APQS branded car.
There you go. You do have an APQS branded car. Yes, you do.
My license plate is APQS.
Yes.
I won't be
awesome.
there, but I don't know. You can put a blow up doll of me on the roof of Aunt Angie's car, and I'll be there in spirit.
Not and say we did. No, joking.
let's
Like one of
not
those,
go there.
like one of those inflatable bears.
Inflatable bear. Okay, so we're gonna have a Neil bobblehead doll. It's gonna be
Yeah. Well, it is about at 1 hour and 2 seconds, 3 seconds. We should probably sign off and let these good people go hang out with their families.
yeah.
Yes.
So thank you guys for tuning in, watching. Please share. Please pass on the good word for the Quilting Academy. We're working a little bit more at that. It's just, yeah, owning it. It's been great. I've been doing virtual retreats for the past 3 days. It's been kind of fun sitting in front of StreamYard. Me and StreamYard are really good friends this week.
I need to start
Awesome.
using mine more.
Thank you, Tammy. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You are. Oh, look at that. Put that back up again. Put Tammy. Look at that quilt behind her. Fabulous. Look
Beautiful.
at that. Yeah. Okay, Tammy, spill the beans on that beautiful red and white quilt. That is
Yeah.
amazing. All right, maybe not. All right.
You
Well,
may have missed that chance.
yeah, we might have missed our chance. Darn it. All right. You guys are fabulous. Have a good night, and everybody keep quilting. Try something new.
Bye.
Bye.